Monday, May 18th, on an idyllic evening in Middle Island, New York. My name is Christopher Colantuono, and welcome to the Geowizdom Podcast. So, last week we discussed Rerum Novarum at length, and we talked about the outcomes of modern industry, industrialization, financialization in America, and what it's done to young men in particular. And we can't really have that conversation without talking about what it's done to women, because this outcome wouldn't be happening unless you attacked the woman first, because the man typically, meaning historically 99.9% of the time, even currently, the man courts the woman, seeks her out, and tries to please her and tries to be the person that's worthy of the mate that he would want. So in 1930, Pope Pius XI put forth the encyclical Casti Connubii, and what he talked about there was the three things that we get out of a marriage, and the three things that constitute illicit marriage. And first, of course, we have the sacrament, and the sacrament has its graces, meaning that this is something that was put forth from God, the marriage between a man and a woman. And therefore, you have certain protections, you have certain graces which fall upon you, which fall upon your life, which strengthen you when you're going about your life because of these graces. Secondly, and maybe most importantly, is to produce children, to produce offspring. And that goes back to the Old Testament. Be fruitful, Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply. And thirdly, it would be conjugal love, which is the physical aspect of the relationship. So the man and the woman, they become one body spiritually, but also physically in the act of making love. And these are the three things that marriage is for. And let's start with offspring. When you attack the role of woman, when you attack and diminish the role of the provider of love, the provider of a home for children, the provider of meals, the provider of civilization, if you will, um, you're really attacking civilization at the root. And when we go back to the miracle of Fatima, it was said that when Satan makes his final push, when he knows his time is short, he makes his final push. What he's going to attack is the family. So the best way to attack the family is to go after the mother, because if you get the mother and the children, they're being raised primarily, typically by the mother. When it comes to time, physicality, um, the man can easily be marginalized. And we've talked about this at some length, but what we haven't talked about is the timeline. And so we can go back to the early 1970s, to Roe versus Wade. And what Roe versus Wade did was, on a federal level, it sanctified the murder of children. So, in sanctifying and in making licit politically the murder of children, you told mothers that they really weren't that important. Because now, a worker, if they go to work, I can't steal their work. I can't say I'm going to steal from you, and that's okay. But I could say, well, no, you should abort your baby. But it is said in scripture that never, ever will you do evil to bring forth a good. And that's really the only argument for abortion that people have, other than I just want to kill the baby, is that, well, you're going to throw away your life. Don't you want to go to college? Don't you I don't want to go bowling on Saturday night? All that's going to go away if you have this baby. But what they're really saying to you is that even though you decided to put yourself in a situation where you could bring life into this world, the holiest of duties, you could say, would be motherhood, you would be better off with a sacrificial murder. And that's really stricken at the heart of motherhood. So, where else does it go? You don't have to go too much further than that, but that was in the 70s. You could talk about, the workplace. Now, far be it from me to go against, the institution of the family, the Holy Family, where, again, St. Joseph, he went, he worked, he was a carpenter, Blessed Virgin Mary stayed home, and she took care of the house. So if that is to be our model, that means that it's not always going to be. There's going to be times when the woman has to earn an income for one reason or the other. Maybe the man is incapacitated. Maybe the man isn't in the picture for one reason or another. But that doesn't change our model, and the Holy Family is our model. And when we attack that model by making the man a fool, by taking the woman out of the home, by not only encouraging it, by mandating it, by telling a woman that you're throwing away your life if you want to raise a family, we are mandating to that woman that she is going to live her life at odds with the Christian archetype of perfection for a woman, which is the Immaculate Conception, the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now think about that. So we can keep on going back further and further, but we really need go no further than Rerum Novarum, because we had just reached a just wage in the 1950s, the 1960s. We had just reached a just wage, but again, with the imposition of birth control, which once again acts against the natural order, putting a woman into the workplace, married with children with the man. As soon as we had the family wage, woman entered the workplace en masse. The workplace was doubled, and there was no doubt about it. Any kind of bargaining power that anybody was going to have was gone. And everybody, and myself included at times in my life, is afraid to address this simple issue that Satan has successfully gone after women and subverted them in this country. And I speak to young women, to older women. What's been done to you is awful. We have not fought hard enough as men, but I'll fight for you. There's others here that will fight for you for your right to live with the Blessed Virgin Mary as your model, to be a spouse, be a friend, be a mother, be who God calls you to be. My name is Christopher Colantuono. This is the Geowizdom Podcast. Have a great evening.